Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. Rise and shine. Welcome to Rise and Shine with Morning Moon. My name is Coach Lacey, and today I am coming at you with the word of the day. Today's word is forgiveness. So if you haven't already anchored into the Wellness Foundation's checklist in the morning Rise and Shine with Morning Moon group, make sure to do so. We're into the afternoon time now, so we should have a few things under our belt if you haven't already done all the tasks. If you can only do one thing, anchor in with just the one thing today and don't feel bad about it. You've got this. Okay, so today I've been pondering a lot about what I wanted to share with you all today, and I keep coming back to forgiveness. Um, that one is hard for a lot of people, including myself. I've gotten better at it throughout the years. But I'm not talking about, as usual, we're not going to talk about like the fluffy, oh, I forgive you type thing. I am talking about the hard stuff, the difficult people, the people that are hard to love. Boy, have I had a lifetime of hard to love people, including myself. I'm hard. I'm difficult. I'm a difficult person, but I haven't always been a difficult person. When I was younger, I was pretty easygoing. But I come from a very difficult stock of family. Like everyone in my family is a little bit difficult in their own way. And I mean that in the kindest, most loving way possible. I have a wild family on both sides. So my dad had five other children besides me, and I'm the only one in my mom's family, of my mom's children. So my brother, I've got three brothers, one who's passed, and then two sisters. Um, and my closest sibling is my brother Zach. He is my best friend. He's been my best friend. He's 5 years younger than me. We haven't always been best buddies, but he's a difficult person. And if you're watching this, I love you, but my brother's a difficult person and he's hard for people to swallow. And sometimes he says things that it's really hard to get past some of it. And he's been my greatest teacher, him and some of my mentors and just people in my life. They've been my greatest teachers of forgiveness because sometimes people say things and it's really difficult to forgive them for that. But the thing that we have to remember is when you're extending forgiveness, it doesn't mean that you have to put yourself in harm's way again. The nitty gritty, down in the dirt, like gnawing in your ache of your gut type of forgiveness, the kind that you mull over instead of sleeping, the type that comes up that can turn to bitterness if left festering. Um, it's the kind that you have to really look at yourself and you have to really look at how your reaction to things matters too and how it plays into the bigger picture. And you have to look at your own reflection and say, I'm done. I'm done holding on to this. Even when it still hurts, even when it's like an unacceptable, even when people may say or do things that are just wildly disrespectful, really, or offensive. Be quick to forgive and be slow to be offended. I read a really great, and my book over there, but I read this really great. I have these devotionals, and in one of my devotionals the other day, it said to be prudent and slow to offense. If you're prudent and you're slow to offense, then it's easier to forgive. Even when there's like no apology. You have to really, you have to really let it go in order to get your freedom back. And you have to recognize that forgiveness, it's not a moment. It's actually a practice. It's something we cultivate within ourselves. It's not because the other person deserves it. It's because you do. You need it. You deserve it. It's for you. You deserve to have some relief. You deserve to have some release. Deserve to have your freedom back. You deserve to have a life that is unchained to bitterness because if left unchecked, this turns to bitter anger, resentment. No matter what type of argument you've gotten into, no matter what was said, we have to look at the person that was saying it. And for me, I don't get offended anymore. People are like once in a while, like the only thing that really offends me, that really upsets me is if you're hurting children or you're hurting animals or you're hurting disabled people. Like if you are harming someone that can't defend themselves and has no voice, you're the worst type of person. And that's definitely offensive to me. But if you say something shitty to me, or you call me a name, or you say, oh, you're such a bitch, I really could care less if you think I'm a bitch. I could really care less what anybody thinks of me. And that extends to everyone, including like my husband, like anybody in my life. If they say something about me, I'm gonna say, okay, what about this is true? Ooh, I need to get my nails done. What about this is true? And what about this is a reflection of how you feel about yourself. And it took me a long time to get there. I haven't always felt this way. I have been mentored by some of the most critical women in the world. Like I have been sat underneath my mother, I love her. She's one of the most intelligent and funny and amazing women that I know, but man, she can be critical, and that's actually been a good thing in my life because I'm able to self-reflect. The people come at me all the time. I have clients that'll be like, "Oh, I have some feedback for you, but I don't want to offend, I don't want to upset you." And it's like, just give me the feedback. You don't like the website, you don't like the graphic, whatever. Like I have no attachment. Like my attachment to whether or not someone likes me, I could give a fuck less. Pardon my French. Like I could really care less if anyone in my life like care what likes me. Like I care about their well-being, I care about their health, I care about their longevity and their mental stability. And outside of that, what they think of me is has little or no bearing on my happiness. And it's taken me a long time to get there, but it's taken some deep forgiveness and self-reflection and having dealt with some majorly critical people, and people have been worse than mean to me. I mean, so even when there's no apology, I've had the worst of the worst things said to me. I've had some of the most hurtful things said to me by some of the people that I love the most, and I forgive them. It's like, who cares? If you think that way, that I'm sorry that you feel that way in your soul. That sucks. Like, I'm sorry you're mean. I'm sorry you're miserable. That sucks for you. So forgiveness is not a moment, it's a practice. It's not for them, it's for you. I have had to forgive so much in my life. People who have been rotten as hell to me, people who have had all the best intentions, but, didn't show up, people who betrayed me, mentors who steal my words, loved ones who bruise my trust. I have felt it, and I'm sure you have too. We are not alone, but the difference between me and most people is it doesn't affect me. I don't care. Like, do your worst. Don't care. So you have to, and I'm not, people get irritated with me because I come at my family. My family gets irritated with me because I come at these things in a logical and centered way now, and I'm not coming at it from an emotional standpoint. And when you start to come at things from a logic centered way and you look at it for what it is, and you're saying, okay, I'm going to look at the pattern recognition and I'm not going to get emotional about it, people will get emotional all around you, and it will have nothing to do with you because you're done playing their game and you're done playing this ego thing. And when it comes to family and it comes to forgiveness, you're forgiving them for yourself. There's a picture bigger than you. Like, get outside of yourself. It's not all about you. If you are upset about another person not giving a shit about you, it might be because you're not giving a shit about them too. Like everything is a reflection. Stop being selfish. If you can't forgive someone, it's because you're being selfish and you're holding on to a story that you won't let go. And if you can't look in the mirror and actually recognize that and say, okay, I keep going back to these things that happened 20 years ago and I keep talking about it, or I keep going back to this thing that happened 10 years ago or 5 years ago and I keep mulling it over and I keep talking about it. I can't forgive, I can't forgive, I can't forgive, I can't forgive. You've never let it go. Like, I don't talk about my past life ever. Like, maybe once in a while you'll catch me bringing up my relationship with Tom if it's relevant. But never will I ever blame anybody for any of the things that I have walked through. It's not anybody's fault. Did I, start using pot daily when I was married to Tom? Yes. Was that Tom's fault? No. So if you're going to live in the past and not forgive people, even if it was yesterday, you're going to be miserable, you know? So you have to first forgive yourself. That's like the first thing. Forgive yourself. Unless you forgive yourself, you will never forgive others. Ever. You're just going to be stuck in your loop of misery. You are the hardest person you're ever going to have to forgive. You, yourself. Forgive yourself for the things that you've done because we all do bullshit. Forgive yourself for ignoring the times where you should have made a better choice. Forgive yourself for ignoring red flags. Forgive yourself for shrinking when you should have stood tall and spoke your voice and spoke your ground, stood your ground. Forgive yourself for staying silent when your soul is screaming. Forgive yourself for staying when you should have left. Forgive yourself for leaving when you should have stayed. People in relationships oftentimes have like fractures or breakups, or they don't talk, or they quit communicating and quit. It's never because they quit caring about each other. It's because their pride gets in the way. And if you let your pride get in the way of your own healing, you're never going to heal. Like, unforgiveness is a parasite. It's a parasite and it turns to bitterness and anger. And then it just comes out all over people. And it's like, whoa, like, holy shit. Holy shit. Forgive yourself. Forgive yourself for leaving. Forgive yourself for staying. Forgive yourself for screaming. Forgive yourself for doing the thing that's embarrassing. Forgive yourself. Who gives a shit? All you have is now. And that's the truth. And if you're still carrying resentment for other people, it's hurting you, not them. They probably don't even think about it. And you're basically drinking poison every day that eats at your peace, your creativity, your future. Some of you have given up on futures. Like, a lot of elderly folks, like young, older people, have given up on their futures because they're sitting in yesterday, or they don't see a path forward because of all of this stuff. And it's like, you have to move through it and forgive yourself. Like, I once heard that unforgiveness is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. And man, is that true? That was my pastor that said that a few weeks ago. It is so true. Forgiveness doesn't mean you're reconciling. Forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting. It doesn't mean choosing free. It doesn't mean that you are choosing to stay bound to the event that happened. It means that you're choosing freedom. Your freedom to get out of a rut, freedom to get unstuck, freedom over the story that you've been telling yourself over and over and over again. Our thoughts are not our own. Some of them might be, but most of them are radio frequencies that we are tuning into, and the battlefield of the mind is real. And if you do not think that we're in a spiritual battle, you may need to think again, because Satan is alive and real, and Satan is in our thoughts. So unforgiveness is a way that Satan attacks us, is by bitterness and not being able to forgive people. So let that shit go. Who have you not forgiven because you still want them to hurt like you do? Where are you withholding forgiveness because you thought you had to stay that Where are you withholding forgiveness? Because you feel like you have to punish, or you feel like you have to stick your point, make a point. It's not hurting anybody, it's hurting you. So forgive them. You don't have to deal with them again, but you can forgive them. And where are you withholding forgiveness from yourself? Because you feel like you need to stay in punishment mode. You don't have to be, you don't need to be punished. You don't need to punish yourself for things that are done. Like, it's done. It's done. How long do you really plan to carry that weight around? Like, are you going to carry the brick in your backpack up the mountain the whole fucking way? Maybe make some room for something else. What happens if you put the brick down? Like, think of it. You've got an emotional backpack. You have a backpack. You're wearing it. You're going up the mountain of your life. You know, we all have a mountain of our life, and all these grudges that you're carrying are just rocks and bricks you're putting in your backpack. You're like, oh, this is pretty. I'm gonna put it in here. Well, eventually your backpack's gonna be full, and you're gonna have to let some of that shit go. You got to make some room for some nourishment. Because those rocks are not going to nourish you, even if they're pretty, you know? So take a deep breath, feel it, breathe it. You know, I could be younger than you, spitting some shit at you that you're like, you know, you could be one of my parents watching this being like, well, you know, you could be one of my siblings watching this being like, you could be one of my friends, anybody could be watching this being like, well, fuck, like, yeah. How are you like feeling right now? You feel good about holding grudges? Release it for you. If you don't know how to release it, learn to breathe. Get out a journal. I encourage everyone to journal. Have a notebook. I have my notes app. In my notes app, I'm journaling all the time in my docs, my Google Docs. Write it down. Write in your physical journal. I release this story. I release this hurt. I release this pain, whatever it is. I choose freedom. Just write it down. I release this hurt that this person has caused me, and let it go. And if it comes back in your mind tomorrow, write it down again. And the next day, write it down again. Keep writing it down until it becomes, until that wound becomes a scar. That's how we heal. That's how we process. We write it down. We process. We pray. We do our devotionals, whatever that means for you. Input, output. The reason we read the Bible and the reason that we do devotionals isn't just for a history lesson. It's to recalibrate your mind. After my brother died, I was completely fucking broken. And after my uncle died, I was even more fucking broken. After baby Jaylus died, that took something out of me that I can't describe. And then when I found my dog dead, like, this all happened 1 year right after the next. My heart was fucking shattered. When my grandma died, it would fucking just, I was numb to death by that point. I didn't even have a fucking tear to cry left. I actually didn't cry about her until much later. And during all that time, I've had a ton of people be fucking dicks to me. And I never deserved it. Yeah, I deserved some of it because I'm not perfect, but some of the level of mental and like just like word salad fucking abuse that I have endured from people that I love, it's not okay. But guess what? I fucking forgave them. And I don't hold no beer. Like, I'll probably call my brother later. I'm a little annoyed with him right now. Not something he said to me, but something else. But it's like, you know, forgiveness. And you know what? If you're watching this, brother, I love you. You're one of my best friends in the whole world, but fuck, you're mean. And get, you know, maybe that's a heart posture you need to change. So breathe, everyone. get grounded. Your scars will become a story, and that story becomes your medicine. That's why I encourage you to write it out. That's why I encourage you to tell it. The renewal of your mind. So, what I was saying earlier about the Bible before I went off on a tangent is after my brother died, and after all these people died, and I had all this stuff happen, and I had a lot going on. I went through a bout of being addicted to gabapentin. I lost mobility of my leg. I got into a car accident, a Jeep accident, I flipped my Jeep. I almost killed myself. Like, tons of things have happened in a span of 2017 until now, from the moment my brother died until now. A lot has happened for me, even before that. But that was a milestone that really changed who I was at the core of my being. And I had to recalibrate my mind because all I could do was sit in the darkness. Something weird that happens when someone commits suicide. It's like the void. It becomes this dark plague upon your fucking family. Pardon my French today. I'm really going off. But it becomes a plague on your family, and you start to contemplate it yourself. It's like a virus. And so I had to do a lot of work because there was a lot of guilt and shame there for my contributions as to, his death, um, that I had to work through. And there was a lot of painful stuff. And the only way I was able to do that was I started with self-development. I listened to Tony Robbins and Les Brown every single day, Jim Rohn every day, all day. I literally did that for like 2 years all day. Like every chance I could, I would have one head and anybody I worked with could attest to it. Then after 2020 happened, was a little jarred and I did the same thing, but with news, and it was, InfoWars all the time. And then I went back to self-development because my grandma died and I was like really feeling lost and apathetic to death during this point. And after that, a few other things happened that I'm not really going to share, but um, I found my way back to God. And in that time, I switched my morning ritual from working out to now I do my morning prayer and my devotional. And I'm not perfect about it, but I do the renewal of my mind every day in some way, shape, or form. And my husband and I read the Gospels. We're trying to really fill our mind up with goodness so that when battles come, we can fight the battle. So the reason you read your Bible isn't so that you can just learn a history lesson. It's so that you can have the renewal of your mind. You can armor your thoughts and guard your thoughts against the spiritual battlefield. Because whether you believe in Jesus Christ or not, or whether you believe in God or not, there's a spiritual battle going on. And I'm pretty sure that anybody, anywhere, unless you're total atheist, can agree with that. It doesn't matter what you think who daddy is, doesn't matter. We all can recognize that there's the good and evil. And if you don't believe in evil, you've never seen it. And I'm God bless you for that. God bless you. If you're one of those people who don't think hell exists, you've never seen it. I have. And by hell, I don't mean like horns, and I don't mean heavy metal. I don't mean drugs. I don't mean sex. I don't mean rock and roll. I do mean sex. I do mean abuse of children. That is hell. People who abuse children in any way, shape, or form, or animals, that is hell. And the hell is here, and the demons are here. So if you don't believe that it exists, come talk to me. I'll show you something. So because of that, forgiveness is essential. Forgiveness and prayer is the one thing that drives the demons away. So forgive, okay? And if you need help getting grounded in these practices, remember, I've got the Circle of Life guide up in the group and it's free for download. It will help you see where the weight is showing up in your life and where things are holding you down and what needs to move. Spiritual maintenance is essential for us to ascend and to grow. And forgiveness is spiritual maintenance and spiritual maturity. In order for us to mature and to grow and to become more of ourselves and to not cycle back into this hell that we've created, we have to forgive. You wouldn't let your car go for 20 years without an oil change. So why would you do that to your soul? Forgiveness is the oil change. Okay? I see you. You are loved. You're a child of God, no matter what you think. It doesn't matter what you think. And it doesn't matter what other people think of you. You're not alone. Forgive, not because they're worthy, but because you are. Forgive for you. Okay, I'm done lecturing. I like really felt that on my heart today. So if you need a good word, the word is to forgive. And make sure to anchor in with your daily habits, with your daily wellness foundations. Anchor in with the checklist, everyone. Anchor in, even if it's just one thing today. It's beautiful. Go outside. Look at the sunshine. It's just pouring on a face. Go outside. Enjoy the sunshine. Anchor in with your habits. And I will see you tomorrow. Until then, go pour some light into those cracks in those dark places because the world needs it. Ciao.